In this video, I'm going to be comparing the Canon R50 with the Canon M50, see which one's still worth buying at the time of this video, and so much more. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a little power tip on another camera you might want to check out. Lots of value in today's video, so do not go anywhere. And I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly content on the best cameras for beginners and hobbyists. If that sounds interesting to you, like and subscribe. So the Canon R50 is an absolute great camera. For those of you that have been here a while, you may have seen I made a few videos about this camera, but I just want to emphasize for those of you that are new here to the channel how awesome this camera really is. Now the Canon R50 is a very new camera. It's one of the newest cameras. You could say it's a camera for creators at the time of this video. This 24.2 megapixel camera is great for taking photos. It has a fantastic shutter speed, so when you're taking those nice photos, especially of action shots and stuff like that. But as a creator, this is usually the angle that I come at as a creator, someone who makes weekly content. This camera has it all. Now, it's 18-45mm powerhouse kit lens. It's really handy for taking HD and 4K video. It records HD up to 120 frames per second, which is great for slow motion, but it records fine in 4K, I believe up to 60 frames per second, and it really does take really nice image quality. Now, just to give an idea what it looks like, I'm actually using the M50 at the moment, and it's very similar to the M50 in video. It's just a little bit more stronger in contrast, if that makes any sense. It has a microphone jack, which is great for improving the audio. It does have an internal microphone, which is perfectly fine for indoor or sort of outdoor recording as long as it's not too windy, but it has that microphone jack, that microphone port, so you can attach a microphone to it, be a wireless mic or a shotgun mic. They can clip on top of the microphone, on top of the camera even, making this camera a powerhouse for creators. I would always recommend a spare battery, a tripod, and patience. And a little power tip actually, I say with any camera, is turn off when you're not recording so the battery lasts longer, that sort of thing. But this is really nice. It's light, it's agile, feels professional, has a easy record button. You can play around, it should be nice though. If you're a beginner or you're just getting started out, just put it into video mode on the top, and honestly it will do all the heavy lifting for you. And when you're sort of looking at the screen as I am now, if you just tap on your face, it will auto correct your face. As you can see, it will sort of follow your face around. I'm just watching myself on the screen, and that's really cool. And that's what it will do, is sort of follow your face around, making it, you know, a very, very awesome camera. Now it does have a viewfinder for those of you who want to see the photos that you're taking, and it has all the different settings for fast mode and manual mode and all that sort of jazz. But as a beginner, I would definitely just put it into video mode and off you go. This camera really has everything that you need, and I would, like I said, I would definitely recommend a spare battery and a tripod. I always say a tripod is any creator's best friend, and this really is a camera worth checking out. At the time of this video, it's about sort of $600-700, but that price does go up and down, so keep an eye on that. I will leave a link to that and everything I'm using today in the description below. And if you're getting value from this video, why not buy us a coffee, which supports everything we do here on the channel. Now, a little thing I like about this camera, it looks awesome, it feels nice, and it's so easy to use. Honestly, anyone, if you come from a background where perhaps you used camcorders back in the day, or you want something that's really simple, the Canon R50 is definitely a camera to check out. Now, another camera I wanted to share with you guys is my favourite camera of all time, the Canon M50. Those of you that have been here a while now, here at TVR Creators, you'll know that I have lots of videos on the M50. I love this camera. I'm actually using the Mark II of this camera to film this video, so I've actually got two of these pretty much. This doesn't do clean HDMI, where the other one does do clean HDMI. And actually, a little thing I briefly forgotten about the R50, it has an hour record limit, where the M50 actually has a half an hour record limit. So if you are doing podcasts or filming longer, just bear that in mind. So the R50 does have up to an hour, so you know, unless you plan to talk all day long, that should be more than fine. But half an hour, you sort of have to think about it. But for those of us creators, I would say there's not something to worry about. I used this camera on and off for about 4 or 5 years. It was my powerhouse, and you know, you tend to do in clips of no longer than sort of 5-10 minutes. So I think I've only ever hit the 30-minute once, and that was by accident. Anyway, the Canon M50 is my favourite camera. It does everything the R50 does, but obviously it's a bit older and doesn't quite do it as well. It does record in HD and 4K, does have a slight crop. I would say it's not technically a 4K camera, but it definitely records fantastic in HD. I'm recording in HD as we speak. If you want to see what it looks like, it's pretty much as you're seeing now. And this camera really does everything you need. Just like the R50, it has a really nice flip touch screen, so you can play around the all the different settings, see what you're recording as I am now, so you can see exactly what's happening on the screen. And it has a microphone jack, so you can attach any sort of microphone to it if you so will. Shotgun mic for the top, wireless microphone. It has an easy record button, you have a viewfinder so you can see those photos you're taking. This is a 24 megapixel camera, so it might not be quite as good as the R50, but it's a bit older now, it's a few years old. But I'll tell you what, even in time of this video, I would still recommend this if you don't want to spend the earth. You can get these now for about $300-400 depending on what day of the week it is. Again, description to this in the description below. But the M50, this is still my favourite camera of all time because it's easy to use, it's agile, it does everything you need to do. And just bear in mind, if you're starting out 4K video, yes, you are future-proofing yourself, but just bear in mind that 4K files are much larger, so you will need a bigger SD card unless you want it to fill up every second. And if you're editing on your computer or laptop, just make sure that you have a decent spec because 4K editing does require much more power than HD. Just bear that in mind. Little power tip actually, I use Magic Edit Pro, not a sponsor, just because it's easy, agile, handles files easily, and doesn't seem to require the most powerful computer in the world. I've used it on a few computers now and it's awesome. If you want to know more about that, just leave me a comment and I'll tell you more about it. But the M50 does everything I need to do. It has a 15-45mm kit lens, which is great with both these cameras. Now it does have the M adapter, so it only has a limited selection of lenses, but you can get an adapter and get different lenses down the road. There is more lenses for the R50 and there will be more coming out, so bear that in mind. But the M50 is a great camera. It takes fantastic photos, great video. It does everything the R50 does, but maybe not quite as well. But I tell you what, I would still recommend the M50. It's about sort of 400-ish now. And the M50, especially the Mark II, has clean HDMI, so you can use it for podcasts and live streaming. But I tell you what, the M50 is a great little powerhouse. If you don't want to spend the earth on a camera, but you want a camera that feels and acts professional, will give you great performance, the M50 is still a powerhouse personally in the timeless video. Like I say, it takes great video, takes great photos, you can use it for your thumbnails, you can take it on days out, take great photos with it, or you can use it as your powerhouse for taking those great videos for your YouTube channel or any sort of videos that you want to make. The M50 is a great little camera and I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. I love the M50. I could talk about this all day, but I do have more videos about this. If you have any questions about the R50 or the M50 or the R50 even, feel free to ask your questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And a little thing I was just briefly going to share was that if you look at the R100, it's very similar to the R50, but it doesn't have a flip screen. It does have a microphone jack. So I personally say, well, it's not for creators, but if you want a camera that takes really good photos, definitely consider that, because you can get that for about $400 or $500 instead of $700. So it's a bit of a price difference if you just want a really good photography camera that doesn't cost the earth. So I hope this video gave you value. In a moment, I'm going to leave you 2 end cards that are going to bring you even more value. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Why? Because you guys rock.